Welcome into Seattle Seahawks Today. I am your host, Tom Downey. Beginning today's show is a look at some of the top NFL Combine prospects to watch. I've got a fairly decent list in terms of length of names that we'll keep an eye out for. Now remember, no first-round pick, at least as of right now, for Seattle. So we're looking at, for the most part, guys who should be there in the beginning of round two. Before we get to my list, I want to hear from you guys. Who is your favorite prospect that Seattle could maybe get in the 2022 NFL Draft class? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you have thoughts, head down there and let me know. We begin at running back with Isaiah Spiller, who I always adjust my rankings as we get further along into the combine process. I want to see what he measures at. There are concerns about Spiller's top-end speed, but I like him a lot. I see 3-down value. I saw impact. I saw some big plays at A&M. He's my number one back before testing. They're pretty packed together, several names, so that could very well change. There's Isaiah Spiller, Kenneth Walker, and Breece Hall as well. Both of those guys, I am curious how they test. My brief comp for Isaiah Spiller, by the way, was Le'Veon Bell in terms of the way he runs. Breece Hall, he's a tackle-breaking machine. Massive production at Iowa State, but I didn't love either of these guys in pass protection. That's a bit of a red flag there, and I'm worried about just the overall volume of work for Hall, and I think Spiller's a better athlete. We'll see if I'm right on that once we get to the testing. I could very well be wrong. So of these two backs, no Kenneth Walker here, at least for now. Pick one for me. Type IS for you'd rather have Isaiah Spiller on your roster, or type in BH for you would rather have Breece Hall available to you in terms of taking one, either say round 2 or round 3. Let me know in the comment section. Which running back would you rather have, IS or BH? There's going to be an ad break here coming up in a little bit, so if you get the ad break, head down there and answer the questions we've asked so far. Tight end, also an area of note for Seattle this offseason, and Trey McBride could be a good day 2 selection. Unreal production. In general, most teams cannot use tight ends properly. They're either woefully underused or they get all the targets. That was Trey McBride, by the way. I think tight end 1 race is pretty open. We'll see if McBride can earn that designation from more than just media and exiting the combine. Jalen Weidermeyer is next up here, and I'm just worried here. Good size, 6'5", 255. There is buzz and whispers and concerns, I'll call it, that he might not test that well. And if he doesn't test well, he's not a great blocker. He's just okay in that area. Hands were a red flag. He dropped way too many passes this year. That's a bad combo. So you can answer those concerns and say, nah, down year. I'm a great athlete. If he doesn't run well, he's gonna drop pretty heavily. All right, offensive line time here. Darian Kennard, so I think it'd be a good round 2 pick by Seattle. His PFF numbers, since nobody else really tracks offensive line stats except for PFF, pretty damn great. The overall grade is awesome. The Kentucky offense did hide him a little bit in terms of pass protection, but he's a massive human being, 6'4" and change, long arms, 330. I'm curious what he weighs in at. Is the weight in the right position? The length says he can play tackle. Does the athletic ability check out? There are some concerns in that area, but in round 2, I think he's an intriguing prospect for Seattle. Nicolas Petit-Frere, or as French producer Sam called him, Nicolas Petit-Frere, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. I think he's better in run protection or in run blocking than he is pass blocking. The numbers were not great. His lasting moments in this year was getting wrecked by Michigan. He's inconsistent still. I think he's a bit more of a mid-ish day 2 pick than, say, an early day 2 pick, but I think he's better on the right side, which could be a big-time need for Seattle, even if they bring back Dwayne Bryan, let him Jake Curran, potentially. Technique's not there, but I think he could test really well. I think that the size, the athletic ability is all there. If he does test well, like I think he might, that's going to be a big deal for his draft stock on top of that. Great deal for you guys, by the way. Seahawks hoodies, up to 50% off at chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie. Some great styles, variety, color schemes, you name it. There is something for you that is on sale for up to 50% off. chatsports.com/Seahawks Hoodie. By the way, that also includes quarter zips, and I love the look of this Seahawks quarter zip as well. So check the comment section and the description. I'll put that link in there for you guys in today's video. Let's go to defense now. DeMarvin Leal out of A&M. He's a weird prospect. Was hyped as a top 10 pick entering this year. The consistency is still not there. Two things I want to see. I think he's going to test awesome. I want to see what weight he's at. If he checks in at like 290, 295, okay, he's a 3 technique. If he checks in at 275, he might think he's an edge. I got him as an interior defensive lineman. Let's see what happens during the combine. The interior guys we discussed are going to be mostly, penetrating 3 techniques. If you want an Al Woods replacement, Travis Jones might be your guy. Big-bodied nose tackle out of UConn. Got awesome size, good production for the Huskies. That was a bad football team. Travis Jones, though, not bad. I don't know if this name's going to be there, and this might be me getting just a little bit greedy. How about Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia? The production says, 2.5 sacks, that's not what you want. Tape says he's pretty damn good, and the athletic ability is highly intriguing as well. I think he's going to test awesome at this week's combine. One more interior defensive lineman. It's Perrion Winfrey, and you can tell that's producer Sam's boy, by the way. His role in the Oklahoma defense was predominantly to just do some various stunting and shooting and crossing. It was a weird defensive scheme that didn't always result in making life easy for the defensive tackles. At the Senior Bowl, he looked incredible. I think that the play you're going to get from him in the NFL is better than the production you got at Oklahoma. So of these 4 defensive linemen, pick one for me. You guys know I would love to find a true 3 tech or maybe a 5 tech as they run more, 3-4 fronts, but you can still have a 3 tech and a 3-4. I mean, Aaron Donald was in a 3-4, right? For the Rams, it still works that way. You want interior pressure. So pick a defensive lineman here. DL for DeMarvin Leal, DW for Devontae Wyatt, TJ for Travis Jones, PW for Perrion Winfrey. All right, more defensive guys here. Myjai Sanders out of Cincinnati. The numbers say meh. The impact, though, was there. He has to finish better. He did not finish his sacks and didn't quite get home as often as you want. You could say maybe benefited from a good cornerback grouping at Cincinnati. I see day 2 pick right here. And given the team's apparent need for a 3-4 pass rusher, Sanders can do that. So too, I believe, can Arnold Ebiketie out of Penn State. Temple transfer. Goes to Penn State and basically doubles his production. That's really rare for a player to go to a bigger program and increase that level of production. So I like Ebiketie, probably a 2nd-round pick if Seattle wants him, just like Myjai Sanders. Potential 3rd-round guy is Nick Bonito. Now, his production was solid. 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. He did a fantastic job of generating pressure for Oklahoma. Now, he will slide a bit because he's tiny. He's 6'3", 240. That's perfect for a 3-4 scheme. If you want a designated pass rusher, this is a prime candidate for you at some point, maybe round 3 in the NFL draft. Local kid Kyler Gordon next up here. I believe he goes round 1. I don't think the talent says he should go round 1 quite yet, but this guy, watch his combine. He's going to blow up. He is going to jump out of the gym, or I guess out of the stadium. He's going to test fast. I think he's going to be a big-time combine riser. Now, does that get him to the Seahawks pick? He might be gone by then. But if they're going to invest early in corner, this is a good name along with Kaiir Elam to watch. Another name who I think will test incredibly well, Tariq Woolen. This is at least in the old Seahawks style when they loved ball skills and length and speed, this guy was custom made for that Seahawks defense. He's got incredible length. He's incredibly fast, and he was a former receiver as well. His arm length, by the way, 33.5-inch arms. He's got 2 years playing corner, big corner, long arms, athletic as all hell. And there was NFL Network report saying he's going to run the 4.2, going to run a 4.2. No, he's not. He's not going to run that fast, but he's going to run fast. And at that size, there are going to be all the defensive coordinators in the NFL are going to say, this is my guy. I need him. I want him oh so badly. So I am excited to see what Tariq Woolen ends up doing from that perspective. All right, combine stuff, it's done. Now it's time for your insane trade idea of the day. Should Seattle explore dealing DK Metcalf? We will come back to this because I've got thoughts of the negative variety in terms of calling it out. But first, the Seahawks channel is now trailing our Eagles channel. That's really damn disappointing since Philadelphia, they could have had DK Metcalf, and they missed him, and they are a failure from that perspective. Let's get that changed. All right, subscribe if you want free Seahawks videos every single day. The gap is 100. Let's get it changed. Subscribe right now. All right, here's what The Athletic wrote on trading DK. I'll make note, this has been spun out of context pretty heavily because it's a game of telephone, right? Trading players to shed salary and acquire draft picks is always on the table because part of Carroll's always compete mindset is listening when teams call and inquire about his players. Offseason will be no different. But if we eliminate Wilson from this discussion, Seattle doesn't have many realistic trade candidates. Because Seattle doesn't have a first-round pick, John Schneider figures to explore the possibility of trying to acquire one. But outside of Wilson, there aren't many ways to do that either. The only realistic option is DK Metcalf, whose contract expires after the 2020 season. Seattle would have or 2022, excuse me. Seattle would have no problem finding someone willing to give up a first-round pick, perhaps an early one, for the right to acquire Metcalf and sign him to an extension that pays him like one of the best players at his position. Such a move would be reminiscent of Seattle's decision to trade defensive end Frank Clark to the Chiefs ahead of the 2019 NFL Draft for a first-round pick and a second-round pick. Now, the real argument from Michael Schadenduger here wasn't really to trade DK Metcalf. It was, if you're going to shop somebody, that's the only name that makes sense. I would think The Athletic, and I agree, that that's not something Seattle should do. Yes, you want draft capital, I get that. You would have now a glaring need at receiver. You would probably want to spend your first-round pick or second-round pick on adding a new receiver. And that receiver could be anything. He could even be DK Metcalf. You get the point here. You don't trade away DK Metcalf. Now, this is a democracy here at Seattle Seahawks Today. So, should Seattle consider trading DK? Type N for no, H for hell no. Sound off for me in the comments right now. The answer is simple. DK should be extended, not traded. It is so difficult to find players who, for the first 3 years of their career, have put up over 1,000 yards on average and nearly 10 touchdowns. The dude's a freak. He is everything I thought and more he was going to be. He was a top 15 player for me when he came out of Ole Miss. 3-cone be damned. Teams got by that one. Plus, I think there was some medical stuff that also really caused his fall. But still, he's awesome at football. Look at the most receiving yards in his first 3 years. He's number one. DK Metcalf, Joey Galloway, big gap. Now, Seattle did eventually trade Galloway, and they won that deal. But do we think Galloway's better than Metcalf? I don't think so. Now, I know that DK Metcalf is going to be crazy expensive. It'll probably be around $25 million a year. Oh no, I have one of the 3 best young receivers in the NFL. What am I going to do? Oh no, I don't care. Pay DK Metcalf, pay Tyler Lockett, and profit. Why would you get worse at receiver? I'm all for acquiring draft picks, don't get me wrong, but trading away a prime, young, freak talent like DK Metcalf, it's not what I want to do. It's not what you should want to do, to give you your own opinion there. Keep DK, pay DK, and build your offense around him and Lockett. And do a better job, by the way, of getting both those guys the balls in the same game. And if you guys want it told like it is, it's the right channel here. We will not sugarcoat things. We will not, hold back from criticizing bad ideas. You will call my Tyler Lockett trade rant, I hope. So if you haven't already, subscribe. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV is the URL. Hit that big red button and join us for videos every single day on everything going on around the Seahawks. News, rumors, trades, free agency, and yes, of course, the NFL draft. Even with no first-round pick, we're going to break down everything going on around that standpoint for Seattle this offseason.